Yeah. You gotta work. You gotta work, grind, shine, it's mine. Gotta show everybody it's my time. Getting here, you gotta work, grind, shine. Never mind who talking down.
Welcome to Let's Talk with Carl Lee and frequent guest hosts Hollis Lewis and Lisa Otey, where sports, culture, and community intersect. Join the crew as they dive into engaging conversations with guests from all walks of the sports life. Let's Talk is proudly presented by attorney Frank Walker. Real talk, real experience, real results. Let the conversation begin on Let's Talk.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Carl Lee with Let's Talk, and I have both of my co-hosts in the building, Hollis Lewis and Lisa Otey. How are you two doing today?
Ready for Santa. we're on the countdown now, aren't we?
Actually, I don't have my tree up yet.
You shouldn't even bother now. I mean, if
late in the game now.
Yeah, just don't even worry about it till next year.
All that we have is the grandchild that we're getting anything for, and so actually, I'm going to assume, because I'm not putting it up.
Well,
so Donna's putting it up. So
are you just going to your son's house?
I'm going to end up going to my son's house.
Yeah, I might as well just leave it out there.
Just leave it in the building.
Well, see, we actually got a small tree now, so it's one of those that you can just pick it up, sit it away, and it's all good.
Oh, well, that's not bad.
Well, ain't no reason to bother.
We
Hollis is right. I'm Team Hollis on that.
Well, see, I love Christmas, and I love all of the things that go around it. It's just
obviously you don't love it enough to put a tree up.
That's not my job, though.
Oh,
see,
here we go.
My job.
He went there.
I did go there. That's my.
So I guess that's Donna's job.
That's Donna's job.
Oh my goodness.
So
okay.
she's slipping.
Okay. Okay. Donna, I hope you hear this. You hear all of this.
Hopefully, she's not going to catch this show. All right. So, man, we got some crazy. Some crazy stuff that's out
crazy.
There. All right, so we'll stay local here, right from the start.
Okay.
We've got a coach, South Charleston.
No, Capital.
I'm sorry. That is leaving.
Second time, right?
Second time. Correct, right, Hollis? That's the facts. Why? Why come back if you're going to leave again? I mean, has there been any conversation about why?
Not yet.
Or just that he's leaving?
Yeah, I mean, I haven't heard anything directly. This is Coach Carp. Yeah, Coach Carp, John Carpenter. What I can assume is just just the nature of coaching has just changed, man. Just with the mobility that players now have to go from school to school. You're not in a situation where you can collect talent like you once did. And your job as a head coach is now just a little different because not only do you have to quote unquote recruit players from the lower levels coming into the program, but you need to recruit your locker room. So I think the nature of you just going in, coaching, discipline, those sort of things that we grew up on that a coach was, it's not necessarily that anymore from the head coaching standpoint. Your job is just markedly different. So now you're almost just like a figurehead, you're a recruiter, but you still have to manage the program. So again, if you didn't step into that's not what you signed up for. I can see why it's not for you, although you still may have the love for the occupation.
Yeah. And also, I mean, let's just face it, the compensation is just, it's not there.
Fact.
And it's a lot of work for a little bit of money. You really have to love what you do. Yeah. There's just so many other things that you can do with your time unless you get so deep into this and I think you alluded to this earlier, Hollis, about the middle schools. You can't depend on your players coming from your feeder schools because they can choose any high school they want to go to. So you don't know what you're going to get from year to year, and that makes it even more challenging. But seriously, if they're going to put more and more on these head coaches at the high school level, they need to consider more compensation for what they do for their time.
100%. I mean, and to put it specifically, when you talk about that compensation, that's $4,500 a year. And what people don't understand, not just for football, for any of these coaches out here, you're not only coaching in the season. So in the season, you may spend, in addition to your day job and coaching, you may be working, 100 hours that week.
Oh, sure.
Right?
Every bit of it.
And then you're working in the off season with quote unquote recruitment. I'm not saying recruitment, but quote unquote recruitment. And you still have to have an off season program. You still have the flex weeks during the summer.
Yep.
So you're spending an innumerable amount of time doing that, trying to be good, trying to coach kids, trying to be a mentor, and the compensation, like you said, Lisa, just doesn't add up.
It doesn't.
I mean, because and I'll let you go, but even Capital's former basketball coach, Matt Green, one of the reasons and again, it's just my conjecture, he went to a different occupation because, again, he's spending all that time doing this and you're just not being compensated to somewhere that's adequate.
And I can speak for me. And I think this will fit a lot of coaches. When you hear the amount of what you're getting paid, I think in your thoughts, okay, I'm not worried about that. That's not necessarily the issue. I really want to make sure I can bring this team along. I can work with these kids. I can do these kinds of things. And I hate to say this, but some of the problem can be created by the parent of a kid who's a talented kid because of the actual reality of playing at a team that's winning. Everybody wants to play at a team that's winning. But at some point in time, you got to play. I mean, you got to play where you are and accept that reality, because it is, again, the life lessons that you get in sports.
That's just not the reality.
I know.
I understand what you're saying, but we can't keep saying that because it's just not the reality.
But I cannot, for me, okay? For me, I can't look at it to be just about the money, just about winning. I can't, I mean, and...
But parents would argue and say, well, it's not about that. It's about opportunity. It's about fairness. They're going to come up with anything that would justify them doing whatever they want to do. So
that don't make it right.
I ain't saying to make it right, but I'm saying they can come
just
up.
Reality.
They can counter your argument with a number of different ways. So I'm saying from a coaching standpoint, because again, parents have always kind of been an issue in the background. That's been since the beginning of high school sports, but since we made it an important thing. There's always been a parent, the loudmouth, da-da-da-da-da. Now the problem is not only I got to deal with the parent, but I also got to deal with the reality that if I don't appease this parent and this kid, that now my talent's going to walk out the door. And to your point, if you have that talented kid, not only is he going to walk out the door, he probably going to take 2 or 3 of his buddies with him.
Good point.
So now I may lose a talented kid. I may lose depth. So it's like, and to Lisa's point, if I'm not being compensated adequately, what is the point of me doing this?
Yeah. And here's another point to go with the compensation. A lot of the coaches, we know this. I mean, some are retired people, but also a lot of them are their day job is teaching.
Yeah.
And so that is their income for their family to be able to pay the bills. And a lot of teachers, a lot of male teachers, female too, take second jobs just to be able to make it from day to day, to pay their bills, take care of their families. And they're having to spend all their time after work doing a job that they're not compensated for. I mean, that's a big sacrifice.
Yeah. And then you got to deal with everything else.
And deal with everything else. I mean.
And for me, I don't see free money, whether it be high school or college to be paid out to athletes. Now, what I will say, I would agree to a systematical structure of, let's say Hollis is the best player on my team. And there are 2 other quarterbacks. If you're a quarterback, you're the starter. You get, just as a hypothetical, you get $10. The other 2 get $5. To me, it should be. It's not like Hollis can come in and negotiate with me like he is a pro athlete. Like, I just don't.
But that's reality now.
I do. I realize it's reality. I'm just saying. I'm the dude who doesn't like it. And I'm the dude.
You pushing a rock uphill.
I believe that. Yeah. And I know no one's going to really listen to me. But even if they agree, I understand that we don't have a chance of getting that kind of a structure. But sooner or later, the state of West Virginia is not going to pay these players the money that they think they're going to be worth.
We're not talking about pay. Players aren't necessarily getting paid to a large clip now, and if they are getting paid, it's from outside sources,
right?
Not a state thing. The problem is that if I'm a coach and I got to deal with all this, I need to be getting paid.
Yeah,
we need to pay the coaches more. That's who needs to be getting the money. Because if you're going to deal with all that,
or make it a full-time job. I mean, they don't even have to teach. I mean, that is a full-time position in whatever county district that you work in.
Now, the problem with that, though.
Well, I know what you're going to say.
You're going to come into Title IX issues because now it's going to be and specifically women's sport coaches who are going to say, well, I need to be full-time, and we know the state can't afford to pay all the coaches full-time. So my proposal is that you pick out 2 coaches. So one coach from one sport and one coach from the other sport. You make those coaches full-time employees. So, maybe in a perfect world, it'd be a coach from a guy's sport, coach from a women's sport. Right?
You mean at each school?
At each school.
Okay.
And hold up. Here's what it'd be though. Your primary job would be to coach, would be to raise money, work alongside the AD. And then in addition, you would be responsible for substitute duties. So now that school, if a teacher's out, they don't have to call another substitute. You would already have 2 in the building. So you would handle substitute duties when you could, disciplinary issues, coaching, and helping the AD. That would be my proposal, and you would just have a lot
of high schools. They would sub every day.
Yeah,
I'm telling you. I mean, and that would take away from their time to do their job, though, right? Wouldn't that kind of negate the purpose of it?
And what
I'm saying, you can't just be like, because you're not going to like coach football for 8 hours in a day and then coach in the evening. So there's going to be sometimes. I'm not saying you sub every day, but that would just be part of
when there's an emergency, like they can't find a sub.
What if you can't sub? What if you've not ever been a teacher? You've just been a coach.
You have to get all those licenses and everything. Anybody can sub. You can sub right now as long as you go take the class, sign up. Anybody can sub as long as you don't have a criminal record. But what I'm saying is I think that's a way to justify it. Because we can't, because in the state of West Virginia, you can't just say, okay, here's a football coach. We're going to pay you $67,000. That's not a reality of where we're at now. We're not Texas.
But can we get to like an actual pay? Like something that's an actual adult who gets paid a year.
But again, yearly? The problem is not necessarily we probably can, but you can't afford to pay every coach because now every coach from every sport will want some compensation.
Okay, and I understand that, but if you rank football as your biggest moneymaker,
can't do that.
I think you can. I think you can.
Yeah.
I mean. Okay, so football, basketball, so that's girls and boys basketball, track, baseball, whatever that is, everybody has a structure. Because football is going to bring in more money for most schools anywhere.
Yeah, but you can't. But the thing is, football's always going to be that.
I understand that.
So it's not really fair.
let me ask you guys this while you go down this rabbit hole. If the boosters, let's say you're at a specific high school and the boosters raise money and concession stands and car washes, can they compensate the coach in addition to what they're being paid by the county? Is that legal?
That's a good question, and I do not have the answer to that.
But wouldn't that kind of solve like some of the problems?
Again, if you have an inner city school, a poor community, or rural community versus an affluent community, then that creates an unfair advantage.
Well, that's true, but it happens at the collegiate level, doesn't it?
That's not. We talking about college. I mean, high school is a little different, so our rules is different than college.
And but here's the thing: to every point or every effort that we put out, we still have these restrictions or these situations that are, you can't really do that. And you know, and so you have all this, you can't do this, but you need a fix.
But I think you just have to make it equitable. That's why I would say essentially you just pick a men's sport and a women's sports coach and make them full-time employees. And they would have other duties in addition to their coaching duties.
But I don't think it can be. I
don't know where they would get the funding for that. First of all, countywide. I mean,
if you think about what they pay a substitute every day, or you think about what they make, in addition, one of y'all got to be the AD. Cut the AD position out. So I'm just saying, it's like I think there is a fix. We got to be creative. But to your point, and again, that's not even a fair fix because other coaches would say, well, that's not fair. Because, again, football coaches generally is always going to get that job unless you don't have a football team. And if you're the baseball team or the track team and you have a historically good team, you can say, well, I deserve that, not them. Because my team we're always winning championships. Because, like I know, even if you got a quote unquote not very good football team, generally they're going to make more money than if you have an all-world track team, right? Because football generally, from the college level down, is the sport that makes money. Everybody else generally loses money besides women's basketball and men's basketball.
I think just a start is just to double maybe their stipend.
Maybe that's too. Yeah, maybe that's it too.
I mean, just to start, and then I think what you're saying is a great proposal, but the funding in public schools right now is every year it goes down.
Yeah, we know where it can come from, but we ain't gonna get political.
Right. Yeah.
But are we with all of that? And you all secrets, okay?
There are no secrets.
That you're choosing not to talk about.
Well, you just don't go there.
Yeah, you're okay. I'm with you, and I'm not even going to push that. But what I'll say is, for me, I'm looking at trying to get the best for the kids that are playing. They need a coach card. They need a coach that's going to be out there, that's going to be battling experience, want the best from them, not just football, but academically and all of the whole thing. We're getting to a point where are we just going to just give anybody that $4,000 and say, hey, go with it?
I think the young man who we think got the position, Teran Rush, I think he's going to be able to do a phenomenal job. He's integrating himself into the community. He relates to the young man. So he'll do a fabulous job.
I've heard good things.
But even to that point, hell, the parents, they know everything, so let them deal with it. and you know everything, so you got it. We don't need coaches no more. We got parents.
See, we're all good. See, to your point,
Colin is stalking for language.
Yeah.
To your point, you can't say as a parent, when you get a new coach, you're happy for a day and a half, and then as soon as the very first practice, the very first game shows up and you lose, or you don't have that many kids on the team, how do you turn around and say that's the coach's issue?
I don't know.
You know what I'm saying? And, again, I feel like, I just feel like if you're going to be a parent and you got a kid that's playing on a team that is not successful, and not successful because coach, because coaches come and coaches go, and the record still stays the same. That's because of the kids. That's not, that's.
I disagree with that. Yeah, I disagree with that. Coaching makes a difference.
All right, I believe it makes a difference, but
yeah, coaching makes a huge difference.
I agree with you, but you've got to have players to play.
Yeah, but I think even if we see like the example of Steve Edwards in GW, he got one feeder schools. He's done it for almost 30 years. And while he hasn't won a state championship, he's been to multiple state championships and been a consistent playoff team since 2000. Coaching is what makes it.
And I'm not taking anything from him, but you have a community that is a solid community that kids are coming.
He had that community. That community was there from 1985 to 1999, and they was losing all that time.
I'm not trying to take anything from him, but he's going to come in. He's going to change the structure. He has probably a thousand times better eye of what this team can do than probably any coach anywhere else.
It's all coaching. That's coaching.
But he's going to get his community to show up.
100%.
He's going to get that community to show up.
Yeah.
It's coaching.
And
coaching makes the difference.
He's also going to bring in the players from other areas, parts of the county, just for the fact that the educational opportunity that those students are given there too, compared to some other high schools. I mean, it's part of the package. I mean, that's a great, one of the blue ribbon schools of the state.
And I can't, but I got to fight with him for.
Well, that's all right.
Hey, it's been that way.
Here's my concern with that. When you say that, Capital, Charleston High, has been an area of success in sports.
100%.
Coach after coach after coach after coach after coach. Now, all of a sudden, because of the structure that's in sports, you can take that coach, whoever he is, and he can't hold on to kids because whether they don't like it, they don't like the screaming, they don't like the running, they don't like any of that kind of stuff, and they're going to go somewhere else. That's how you end up falling to the bottom. And not having and where do I want to go?
You got.
I'm going to go to Coach Edwards, and I'm not taking anything from his greatness.
You have to have a coach who can adjust to the times. Just like prior to Coach Edwards, that was football was not even looked at. It was all basketball, and we were a sideshow as far as the football team. But as you articulated, he got into the community, he made it work, and the rest is history. So if you're looking at like a Capital coach, which I think Teran will do a good job, it's your job to get into the community, figure out what's broken, try to fix it, and you got to start at the community level, bring that to the practice field, and then you'll be off. So again, it's about coaching now. You again, player, you have to have talent. That's par. We all know that. But to your point, if you want to keep those players, if you want to bring in other players from different communities, that takes the centerpiece of the coach to pull all that together and be that peg to hold that community up from whatever facet it is. It's about coaching.
And the coach also has to understand that this is a new age athlete.
100%.
This athlete is not only, you're not only competing for them on the field, you're competing with social media, you're competing with, the collegiate level NIL. I mean, they're aware of everything. It's not like whenever these high school kids 20 years ago didn't have access to all this. So whoever comes in and coaches these students, they have to understand this is a whole different world, and they have to adapt to it.
That's why I think Teran is going to be perfect for this position.
He's young, right?
Yeah. And speaking of new age, we had a boxing event this weekend.
Let's go there.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
So Jake Paul, he took on Joshua Anthony, former heavyweight champ. We also had some good undercards. You had Anderson, the Spider Silver, UFC legend. You had Alicia, the Bomb Bumgardner. She defended her title in a decision. And my man Jake Paul finally had a quote unquote real boxing match, and he took one to the jaw, and it got broke
in more than one place.
Yeah,
2
more than one
places
place.
actually. Yeah.
Like, if there's a sport that I'm not going to just jump in and assume that
You mean
I
you can't pull a Phillip Rivers in boxing, can you?
That's a good point. That's a good one.
You can't experiment in the boxing
No.
and get in
Dangerous.
the ring. Now, and again, Hollis, I think we were talking a little bit before the show. I think the fights that he has had before, Paul, I don't know if they were like, quote, real
WWE-ish.
I think I think it was just, it almost seemed like the boxing was looking for a new star. And they wanted to maybe start with him coming up through the ranks. But if you're not a boxer and you want to jump into a ring with a boxer,
Yeah.
you're in trouble, and
You're going to be on a liquid diet for a little bit, like
and this fight was that understanding of, okay, maybe I'm not a boxer.
Yeah, and again, he's quote unquote had fights or exhibitions with like Floyd Mayweather, Mike Tyson, a couple UFC guys. But like you said, I think this was the real deal. I think Anthony probably just, he wanted to give the crowd something. I think he knocked him out in the 4th round. But overall, like I said, I think, it's that old adage, like all publicity is good publicity, which I don't think that's true. I don't think,
especially if you're a boxing purist, like we said in the room back there. I mean, nobody wants to. If you're a real boxing fan, like you say you are, Carl.
Yeah.
You don't want a gimmicky fight like
No.
that. That takes away from it.
I don't want to hear about Jake Paul's life over here. I want to hear about how many fights has he had, who did he beat, who beat him,
fights.
legitimate fights. I want to see that.
Yeah.
And he's fighting just the most notable people for the most money that is not even.
Do you know how much they both made?
What's the number?
It was like $93 million.
Yeah,
piece.
and I think that's probably
You can break my jaw in three places for that.
I mean,
and I think
it is Christmas, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's the silver lining, right? The silver lining is that maybe, Paul turns into a promoter because he did bring boxing to Netflix. I ain't gonna say he brought it to Netflix, but he made it prominent on Netflix where they're a major player. So hopefully we can get some legitimate fights, because I think to the sport, it does do damage to the sport when you have your top ranked athletes going against these hokey, exhibition fights. Because I wanted to see like Anthony and Tyson Fury, or Anthony and Deontay Wilder, or Tank Davis, or some of the legitimate guys.
How did so help me with this? How did those names get jumped over, ignored? And you get Jake Paul in there.
I mean, because he's a draw. He's the money guy. You're not making that 90 whatever million.
Yeah,
with
93
those
million.
other guys. So it's about money. Because the other part of that, if I'm going to get hit in the head for a living, I want to make the most money possible.
So I don't have to get hit in the head that much.
So it's like, if I got to fight this hokey exhibition, then I'll just do that to cash out.
Do you think he's done?
Who, Paul? I think the legitimate, I think the novelty of it's worn off. I hope what can happen though, because here's the good thing about what he does in all seriousness. Now we know that between him and the other fights, but he has a bunch of undercards that are legitimate, right? So we got to see Anderson the Spider Silver. We got to see Alicia Bumgardner. We got to see those legitimate fights make real bank on primetime TV. So I think that's what he does great. So hopefully he can flip this into, being a promoter and actually bringing boxing back to where it should be. Is it going to be
this kind of boxing?
But that's what I'm saying. I hope it's not. And I think boxing has got to do something about, number one, its timing. And we don't want to sit necessarily and watch like 5 hours of undercards.
No.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Kind of like give us three quality bouts, pitted at the main event maybe at 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock.
Not 11.
Because East Coast, it really kills you when you up at 12 o'clock trying to watch. I'm like, you halfway falling asleep. And
I can't.
You got to take a nap. You got to like plan your day around
plan
that.
your day. That's because we're senior citizens, Hollis.
and
got a nap.
And I think too, like when you start looking at like who's going to be on the card,
right?
The lack of promotion of some of these boxers hurts the boxing structure as a whole, because back in the day you knew almost somebody on each one of the cards, heavyweight, lightweight.
That's a good point.
You knew one of the boxers really well.
Yeah, you got to like fill the card out.
Yeah, you can't go out there and just put Joe Blow and Freddie going against each other.
And again, I think with this one in particular, he did a good job of doing that. I mean, some of the people, if you don't know it, you may not know them. But like I said, Anderson the Spider Silver, Alicia Bumgarner, if you knew those names, like if you're familiar with combat sports, you know those names.
Right.
But they don't. But to your point, I think boxing definitely has to do something about establishing that crossover appeal like it once had.
Because we need boxers. You know what I'm saying? Like, we need boxers, not somebody that's doing something else. Yeah, I don't want a show. I want guys who are trying to come up, trying to win the heavyweight championship, the lightweight championship. Like, I want guys to be doing that. Like, that's what they do.
Well,
they're not coming in from another sport and jumping into the ring and trying to win.
Yeah. I mean, here's just an example of we knew what was going to happen because, the official weigh-in for the boxing for the event, Joshua towered 5 inches above his opponent and weighed almost 30 pounds more than him. So what did you expect to happen when they got in the ring, right?
That's a good point.
Yes, and okay, so and again, how is that a fight? How is that? You're not even in that.
You're not close.
You're not even close to that weight limit. Like, so you can't be a heavyweight. No. You're not a heavyweight. You're fighting a heavyweight. I
mean, this guy, didn't he box in the Olympics at one point? Like he's just a renowned.
Who? Anthony?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a former heavyweight champ.
Yeah, that's what I thought. And then, here Olympic. Comes
and you look at him
YouTuber.
Standing side by side, and I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back.
Let's face it, bad things happen to good people. Seriously injured in a car accident, trucking accident, or even wrongfully arrested. Life happens, and when it happens to you, you will need sound legal advice and aggressive representation. That's when you call attorney Frank Walker at 304-413-0179. That's 304-413-0179. Lock it in your phone, text it to a friend. 304-413-0179. Or visit online at attorneyfrankwalker.com.
Let's Talk with Carl Lee is presented by attorney Frank Walker and the all-new historic Coyer Diner. Come in on episodes, ask the crew questions, or suggest topics on our Facebook page. Search for Let's Talk with Carl Lee and remember to like the page to become part of the conversation. Subscribe by searching Let's Talk with Carl Lee on your favorite podcast service and tune in Thursday evenings at 7 or Sunday nights at 8 for Let's Talk with Carl Lee. This is Let's Talk with Carl Lee. Now back to the conversation.
All right, we're back.
Well, speaking of imbalanced matchups.
Yeah.
So we had the college football playoffs this week in the first round. So you had JMU, Tulane, both taking some pretty big whoopings. There's some talks about whether they should or should not got in, but I like it. You give the little guys a chance. Now again, JMU, they had to travel to Oregon.
Right.
That was a tough call.
Yeah.
Tulane going to Mississippi, Ole Miss. Again, I think Ole Miss is playing with a little chip on their shoulder.
Yeah.
So, do you think they should have let like Miami and the other schools in possibly, or this was the right call?
I mean, I think it was the right call. You've got to give a little bit of motivation to those Power 5 schools, to give them hope that they can make the playoff, and JMU, that it wasn't as horrible of a loss for them as it was for Tulane. I mean, I feel like Tulane just got blown out of the water, 41-10, but 51-34, that's respectable. I mean, their offense. The offense was, they did a decent job. It was the defense. I mean, and Oregon's
that's a tough road trip.
Fast.
Yeah. And you're going to cross the country.
Yeah.
I mean, even if it was like a Power 5 equally situated school, I think that's just a tough task for anybody.
Oh, yeah.
In December going across the country playing a road game.
See, what bothers me is like either you have. I mean, it's clear to see who's a better team. Like in some of this structure, you're looking at a team that when you're already looking at it and saying, okay, I wonder how bad this score is going to be.
Yeah,
something's wrong with that pitcher.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Something's wrong with that pitcher.
Oregon's legit this year. They're legit. Yeah. I mean, I could maybe see them giving people fits. They may make the whole run, but.
And how about Alabama?
That was crazy.
That was crazy.
17-0. They were down,
17-0. They scored 24 unanswered points. And then I hate to see that. Gosh, I wanted them to lose.
I
wanted them to go away.
Oh my gosh. Well, that was crazy because last year everybody complained about the first round. The home teams won everything and blew teams out. This year the visitors won the games.
Miami won over Texas A&M.
Yeah. That was a close
Alabama
one, too.
won over Oklahoma. He said that, that was a defensive struggle.
Yeah,
but like I said, and then in the next round, you got Miami Miami at Ohio State. You got Oregon at Texas Tech. You got Alabama at Indiana, and then Ole Miss at Georgia. Now, one of the controversies that were a lot of people, well, I ain't gonna say a lot, but some people were complaining about is that these are home games where these playoffs should be neutral site games.
At that point, I think they should be.
You should be? You think so?
I think so, too.
You think so?
I mean, the first round is okay.
Yeah,
right?
First round.
So you're saying second round?
Yes.
But that would mean the team who had to bye wouldn't have that home field advantage. They would be at a neutral site.
Okay.
That's all right.
You think so?
Yeah.
They got the bye.
Wow.
The benefit is the bye.
Yeah.
The benefit is the bye.
Yeah, the benefit is the bye.
So what's the argument for making it a neutral site game as opposed to a home game?
Because a home game is a home game.
Yes.
Think about the crowd. That changes the whole dynamic of the game.
If you believe in the idea of home field advantage, which I do.
I do too.
Then you're already giving me a head start.
But it's a playoff game. So why shouldn't I have every other playoff? The higher seed plays at home.
Every NFL team is fighting for home field advantage.
Yeah.
Why?
It's an advantage for sure.
Okay, so if everybody knows that there's an advantage at being home, especially in the playoffs. So second round of some sort, if you want to call it that. Why are we not at a neutral field?
But why? Why would we be at a neutral field?
Because we want to make it as even as we can.
So you're saying you want to make it even?
I want to make it even.
Because it's the Big Ten and the SEC every year getting the home games. I mean,
that's an argument.
I mean, but it is.
No, that's a legitimate argument.
I mean, you got to give these teams a little bit of a. I don't want to say an edge, but a little bit of
fairness.
But in addition, so we're saying fairness. We're saying like equitable.
Yeah.
Do you think like this would like help like sort of reestablish that tradition of bowl games to have a neutral site?
That would be a good way to fit the bowl games back in.
Yes, because again, think about it.
You could combine it.
You're in the NFL, and you got like you're. What are you trying to get for the playoffs? Home field advantage. Home field advantage.
But why should this be different though? That's what I'm trying to say. The NFL is what it is.
Because
high school is what it is.
Because I'm going to make the case that should be changed.
Why? Hold on. You're saying it should be changed in totality?
I know the NFL is not going to change.
Yeah.
But collegiate, high school, I'm okay with you getting that first. And some of this is money.
All of it's money.
Yeah,
All of it's money.
You want those home games for playoffs so that you can make the money. I understand that, and that's a huge benefit to the school. But at the end of the day, to me, I want the best game, and I believe if you got to travel and I got to travel and we're going to meet at another place, we got a better chance.
So you're saying all playoff, second, third
rounds, whatever.
So you're saying those games should be neutral.
Yep.
That's actually giving me something to think about because I never heard that perspective before. I mean, I've never heard somebody say like, well, okay, these should be neutral site games. I mean, that's interesting.
You're flying 3 or 4 hours somewhere, get off the plane, get your stuff, throw it in the hotel, go out on the field.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you got to go. So now you got to go get that practice in right now. The other team is sitting at home. They didn't already practice. They're chilling, watching TV.
But but that's what you get for being a higher seed. That's the reward.
I don't think
it doesn't work for me at the collegiate level for whatever reason.
Because this is because we're naming they just name these games bowl games, but they're not bowl games in the sense that they are going to the specific location that these bowl games were held in,
like the Rose Bowl.
So you got so Miami and Ohio, they're playing in the Cotton Bowl. Oregon, Texas Tech, they're playing in the Orange Bowl. Alabama, Indiana, they're playing in the Rose Bowl. And then Ole Miss and Georgia are playing in the Sugar Bowl. So, again, traditionally, the Sugar Bowl's in New Orleans, the Rose Bowl's in Pasadena.
Keep them where they
belong. The Orange Bowl's in Miami.
Yeah.
And then the Cotton Bowl would be in Texas.
Right.
So you're just saying keep them where they traditionally were.
I mean, that's pretty well spaced out over the country.
Yeah.
Wow, and you took it a step further to say all playoff games should just be neutral.
I think now, if let's just say a certain bowl is somewhere, okay, and you happen to be in that bowl, okay, that's different.
You just got lucky.
You get to play at home, or at least close to home. Mm-hmm. But for the most part, I feel like I'd be fine if all the bowl games were somewhere that didn't necessarily have a legitimate college team.
That is interesting. That's an interesting point.
It.
I never thought about that.
I think that's a great idea.
I've never even considered that. So outside of a bowl game,
when they get to host these games, this is out of my curiosity, and you guys may know the answer. Whenever the opposing team goes to Ohio State or whoever's hosting, do they split the revenue, or is it just the home team gets the revenue?
I don't.
That would be another argument for that. If
bowl games or something like that, I don't know if that's the. I don't know if that's
playoff.
If it's a playoff game.
So if you host, do you get all the money? Do you get
imagine
the
you get the lion's
sales?
share because you're using your resources, your employees, and everything like that.
I don't see.
I don't know if it'd be down the middle.
No, I don't think that. I don't think that.
So that's another reason to make it neutral, in my opinion.
Yeah, because to me,
because then it would have to be split right down the middle.
Yeah,
because you're somewhere that
after expense.
The benefit of having, the playoff game, a bowl game at your field is money.
Right.
I'm not sharing it with Hollis. There would be no reason for me to share that with Hollis. But if we now are playing at a neutral site,
from you.
If we're playing at a neutral site, then we could split that money. And now we both can really fight for get people at the game.
Yeah,
that's interesting.
Yeah, it's not just your home,
not just your home
fans.
Yes,
yeah. Both schools get the chance to get seats and.
All right, so speaking, we got probably one last topic. We have Pittsburgh Steelers wide receiver.
Oh boy!
He apparently accosted a fan who was in close proximity to the sideline. Apparently, the fan.
Do we have a Pittsburgh fan in the building?
Nah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Apparently,
no,
the fan.
I was just asking.
You keep accusing me of that. It's not a good look for you.
Apparently, the fan said had some derogatory remarks and the tone of racist remarks.
Yeah.
That's what
I think that's what got it going. I think.
Yeah. So I mean, what do we think about like the incident that happened, or what should be the punishment, if any? Like what?
Well, let me tell you what I found out on the internet, and I don't know if it's true or not. I think it should be because it was under CBS Sports, but supposedly this particular fan has had a run-in with him before when he was a Seahawk.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I saw that.
And they were playing in Detroit. The Seahawks were in Detroit. And he actually had to report the fan to NFL security during that game. It's the same fan.
Oh, so he's previously reported this guy.
Yes. And to me, I mean, if the fan is actively pursuing the player to taunt him, to provoke him,
wearing his number.
Right. Then we need to address fan behavior as much as we do player behavior. I'm sorry. I mean, I feel like he should be held responsible just as much as DK is.
I'm with you.
I know the NFL probably disagrees with me.
I mean, it's gonna take a lot of control, internal control, for you to be by that fence. Here's somebody.
Well, have you had a similar situation which you had like a fan or somebody who was just lighting you up, just saying like the nastiest stuff possible?
Well, yeah, I've had somebody talk about being with my mom, and as a fan,
and you're hearing.
I'm hearing it. I hear him, right? There's nothing for me. There's nothing really for me to do. I can't go and jump up and try to grab him, punch him, or whatever. Because one, nobody else is going to say they heard that, at least on the field, right?
Yeah.
So it looks like me, like I'm doing it.
You had this thought process why this is going on?
I just looked at him trying to figure out, like, dude, what would make you say that at a football game?
Right.
Like where does that?
And I think that's where some fans take advantage.
They go too far. Yeah, they go too far.
You're on the field and you can't really respond, and they know that. They want to push those buttons.
To me, I feel like there should be anywhere that there's a fan base, there should be security along the fence, on the bleachers in the end zone, down on the sidelines, to where they hear those things or they hear those people acting stupid, and you either put them out or you do all that. You have the possibility, you have the capability, you have the funding to be able to secure that boundary of the football field if you choose to do it.
I think you're right, and I think it's got to be like a sort of like a zero tolerance, because I think if you're a player, we can't, like, if maybe those things were said to somebody on the street, it would be a similar reaction. So we can't expect these players just to be non-reactionary. No. I think like Russell Westbrook in the NBA had a similar situation. So I think maybe if there's a situation in which, to your point, where you have this rogue fan who keeps doing this to a specific player, and that player reports it immediately, I mean, you got to go. You get one chance, and you're not
coming back.
I don't even. Here's my thing.
Be allowed back in the stadium.
I don't think any, and I could be wrong, but from my knowledge and my idea, my concept of professional sports, for sure, no player is going to come to you as a security person and tell you that this person is saying these things to me. That's going to be a fact. And so if I come to you with that fact, that security guy, police officer, whatever, he's going to go to that person and say, listen, if you say anything else, you got one more time. Yeah. If somebody comes back and says that you said this, you're out.
Yeah,
I mean, because it should be almost as close to zero tolerance as it can be.
I wonder if that dude like had a phone and he was just like trying to get attention. Like, I wonder if he
had that
like,
blue wig.
He's probably having fun. He's probably having fun, and he's saying, I promise you,
That
he's
abusive
not
way?
even thinking that this one, because you can't get to me. I can call you anything I want because you can't get to me.
He's actually hoping that he will get attacked because then he can maybe seek some monetary, reimbursement. He wants money. I mean, I'm serious. Sue him.
There's always that possibility.
I mean, I wouldn't doubt it.
You know,
this day
but
and age.
Man, it's just so tough, man, because it's like, I understand probably the league perception and like even maybe some fans' perception, like DK making, well, you can't do that,
Yeah.
But it's like, if that guy is just like verbally abusing you, you're only
all
human,
day,
man.
all
You're
day,
only human.
And you can't say all me. Oh, you can't do that. No. How do you fix that?
Yeah, how do you feel? I think that's the point.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
you
it
have
right
to
there.
try to figure out how do we
The
stop
league
that.
needs to
The
fix
league
that.
has to figure out
Yeah,
how do we stop that.
Because I think like the NBA, they've developed that sort of zero tolerance. Because even if you look at the Malice in the Palace, and I know we're not trying to go back there, that was a fan who threw something on Ron Artest. Like they didn't just you didn't have the players just go in the crowd and just start doing stuff. A fan started talking, and then it got physical, and then the altercation went crazy. So fans got to take some responsibility too. And it's just like, dude, if you done paid a gazillion dollars to be because I looked at these tickets, NBA, NFL, like if you're that close, them is expensive.
Yeah.
Them is like a mortgage payment.
Yeah.
Bro,
Shouldn't you be normal? Shouldn't you just be proud that
bro,
you're
I'm
sitting in
trying
that
to get me
seat?
that should come with autographs. Like I want a jersey and I want a helmet and an autograph.
But I'm
I'll pay
telling
that
you,
much.
he had intentions. He wanted to
I think
provoke
he's
him
right.
to physically attack so that he could
could
get
have
it
some
on film and have a reason to gain money.
And he's probably, and the bad thing about that, to your point, Lisa, is he's probably like proud of that. He's proud of that. Like he's like I provoked
did it before.
him.
Like that blew my mind. Like the guy has done it to the same player before.
And I think maybe that's why DK Metcalf felt like comfortable putting hands on him. Because like, look, because he probably had it. He's thinking in his mind, like, I got a case. Like this has happened before. Like I'm not gonna let you sit here and just keep doing that.
Well, to your point, Hollis, like, yes, if I know that you're sitting in the front row and you've been talking to me every game, every time I come into the end zone, you're saying something, then I'm going to have some recognition of who you are.
Oh, absolutely.
And so all of a sudden, if something like this all of a sudden happens and you go there and you say that word to me,
oh,
yeah,
we're done now.
That's just, I don't know. You gotta. I think, the league definitely has to do something about the fans, and then just the fans, man. Just go to the game and have fun, man. Like
that's all you have to do. That's all you have to do.
Like it's expensive, it's cold.
Go to a game and have fun.
Cheer for your team and do all that kind of stuff.
It's cold. Like the food costs a gazillion dollars.
It does.
Like just,
I mean, and trust me, this is at every level. There's no reason to get. I don't care what the officials are saying. They've got bad calls, all this kind of stuff.
Doesn't matter.
You have nothing to say. You can't change any of that.
Just
watch it.
Just watch the game
and enjoy it.
Drink your beer and eat
Drink
your
your beer and
hot
go
dog.
home.
Yeah.
Cheer a little bit.
All right, well, we might have ran a little bit over today, but that was some of this needed to get out today. All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is Let's Talk with Carl Lee and Hollis Lewis and Lisa Otey, and we are out of here.
Let's Talk with Carl Lee is presented by attorney Frank Walker. Come in on episodes, ask the crew questions, or suggest topics on our Facebook page. Search for Let's Talk with Carl Lee and remember to like the page to become part of the conversation. Subscribe by searching Let's Talk with Carl Lee on your favorite podcast service and tune in Thursday evenings at 7 or Sunday nights at 8 for Let's Talk with Carl Lee.
If you fall, dust it off and get back up on your feet. Anything could be a win, yup, even defeat. They say sugar bad for you, why is victory sweet? Couldn't play with big kids, I had to sit in the street and watch from a distance, but over time I grew. If I put in the work, in no time I'm due. Everything that I worked and prayed, I'm okay. If you ask me, how did I do it, I'm gon' say, you gotta work, grind, shine, it's mine. Gotta show everybody it's my time. Getting in, you gotta work, grind, shine, never mind who talking down, cause they lying, don't talk, you gotta work. 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 You gotta work.